This Man Be Mob mini episode is about seeing the signal through the noise. And what I mean by that is in signal communications. So you think about radio or television or satellite communications, whatever, a signal is being transmitted and there's a lot of noise in the signal. So you have to have all this electronic filtering to get a clearer signal and to get the noise out. So the signal is what you're trying to transmit. This is exactly what's going on right now in society, where it's extremely difficult with all of the noise of media, of everybody being on their soapbox trying to communicate, to try to piece together a signal out of that and to filter out the noise. So right now our collective and individual filters are broken and people are don't know which way to look. They can't piece together any coherent understanding of what's going on. And that's what we need to really focus on, because if you start to strengthen your filters, because right now, let's face it, we're mentally obese. We don't have the capacity to think very hard on any given topic or to pursue a more clear understanding or purposeful. Not only is mental growth and sense of identity at stake in this, but there's also the more practical day-to-day. How do you function if you can't piece together a clear understanding of what's going on, and to choose which out of the billions of sound bites and pieces of information and voices to select as most beneficial for your development and for your contribution towards the world, right? So really focus on choosing information and sources that cut the bullshit out. And we're very addicted right now to confrontation and outrage, and we need to shift away from that, because those constant dopamine hits are making us dumb and are making us dependent, where we tend towards information with low utility or low actual yield of information that would be low yield, I should say, of value. And we're focusing more on what we find entertaining or what we find to be momentarily pleasurable. So we have a very stifled mental diet, and we focus on the junk food. Now, if you train your brain to get higher mentally nutrient dense content, then over time you're going to see a profound mental shift. You're going to start to feel better. You're going to probably start to feel more empowered. I think the rise of anxiety right now, particularly among younger people, is not just about the coddling and the fact that they were overscheduled when they were young and they didn't have a chance to explore their vulnerabilities and weaknesses and to scrape their knees and to fall down without somebody immediately scheduling them for another piano lesson or some other project. I think it's also the sense that we're not self-reliant, and self-reliance comes from the feeling that you have a mental grasp of the world around you and you're not entirely helpless. So mitigate that helplessness, engage in content that is more purposeful, that gives you meaning, that gives you a clearer, although not ignorant, understanding of the world. One that is more, as I mentioned in a previous video, more encompassing of a vast range of information, one that's more complex rather than absolutist. So consider this. Enrich your mental diet, for God's sake. We all need each of us to do that. That's it. Remember to send me a comment or contact me directly if you have any input.